As in tonight's game, the Boomers defeated the Tall Blacks. Please ensure that your phones are switched off in the press conference. It will be conducted in English and FIBA format with questions at the end. First, Coach Judd Flavel, can you please give us some insights on the game?
Good competitive game. I think we all anticipated that. It was going to be a physical game. One that I'm proud of our team for, I guess, particular areas in the game that we wanted to really impose ourselves. We won the rebounding count, which is a huge part of, I guess, the way that we want to play. Aussie, the Boomers were very physical, pushing us out of our stuff, our cutting and things like that in the second half. But we dealt with that. We had a little lead. They came back. They took the lead. We came back and secured it again. So back and forth. And David Hickey makes a big shot. I can't remember the time, but just to push that lead up and probably just give them a little bit of a relief. But I guess I look at the stat sheet and I go, hey, we shot 25% from the 3-point line. A lot of those shots we really like and we'll take them again. And then the turnovers, that's probably the key stat right there. It's just, 15 is not necessarily a lot, but they scored 12 points off it. So, in international basketball, that's too many points, too many freebies. So, yeah, those are some key areas for us to take a look at and to adjust for Game 2.
Thank you, Coach. We're joined by Isaiah Leafa. Isaiah, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'll piggybacking off Juddy. I think the turnovers kind of hurt us in a way with them obviously getting 16 points in transition. I thought there was definitely positives for us. Our rebounding, kind of gave us a good chance to win, but obviously there was just little hiccups throughout the game that I think Aussie made us punish, and I think go back to the drawing board, look at the film, and make those little adjustments.
Thanks, Isaiah. We'll open up questions to the room. Please state your full name and your media outlet before asking the question.
Jake Garland from the Mercury. Judd, just a couple of questions just in regards to the second and third quarters. Obviously, you've taken over the lead there. You've really dominated. Is that what you're focused on looking into Monday, or were you focused on the first and fourth quarters?
Oh, both. I think we always got to tap into our strengths, and I think some of those areas I thought we put some really good defensive patches together, and then just there was moments there. I think we just controlled the glass, and so we got to control the tempo of the game. And I think once we secured the ball, sometimes we got a little bit too excited, and so we just got to be a little bit more composed, I think. So that happened, in the first half. Obviously, we were in control with the rebounds but those are probably the key areas, not necessarily when it happened, but just the common themes that we saw. And maybe we got away with it a little bit in the first half, and the second half we didn't. Probably the other side, as I'm looking at the stat sheet, just Glover, I think, he got into a bit of a rhythm there, as we know he does. And, I guess just being a little bit more urgent with certain people. But overall, as Isaiah says, a lot to like, and we'll be looking at those areas again. And both teams get to go against each other again. I'm sure there's going to be little adjustments here and there. But for the majority of it, we want to continue to play to our identity.
It must be pretty pleasing to almost silence the crowd pretty much during that second and third quarter. Now you go to Wellington, you have that confidence going into that Monday game?
Yeah, I think, crowd being silenced or not, just happy with the way that the guys are playing. Defensively, rebounding, once again, both teams have been together for a few days, so, you're not going to get everything right out there, but you're going to be dependent upon guys communicating with each other. At the end of the day, there's basketball 101 stuff that we're relying upon the guys to do, but, for the majority of it, very happy, and I think we just can do a lot better to close out possessions or just entering our possession and being on the same page a little bit more and just tidying up a few things there.
And Taylor Britt's injury, how's he?
Yeah, haven't. I just said, are you good? He said yes, nodded his head, so I guess we'll see how he pulls up, but early signs looks positive, so yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay.
Isaiah, just for you, we spoke about that you guys have only been together for a week or so. How have you found the connection on the court tonight, but leading into tonight's game?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, it's a newish kind of group of guys, and I think the connection that we've made off the court's kind of helped, build within these last 3-4 days, and just, our habits and, what we want to do. And I think we build a, big thing on connection and culture, within the group. And, I think it starts with Juddy and then just, trickles down to us. And I think, they've done a good job, and, kind of shows on the court too. We're just like a brotherhood.
Jacob Dool, the Pick and Roll Australia. Judd, you mentioned the rebounding count that you had, really dominant in the first half and scoring around the basket, and then it kind of levelled out a bit in the second half. Was there anything different that you felt the Boomers were throwing at you defensively, or that you went away from, and how much of a focus will that be to get back to that in the next game?
Yeah. Good question. That's really the part of the game that we'll be looking into quite in depth there, because I think we just got a little bit probably messy there with our offense, and a lot of that was the Boomers ramping up their defense and pushing us off. But I think we still, I think it rebounded well. We had some offensive rebounds down there. We didn't really capitalise. I mean, they made some plays. They tipped the ball off. They made some blocks. There was some ones there under the basket that we would have liked to have had again. But I think that's really two teams just going at it, and being physical. And I thought we did a great job getting to the foul line that first half, attacking the seams. And I think we just got to hit a couple of shots, honestly, just to open that back up again. So if we do that, the basketball is a beautiful game when you're making a couple more threes, and that was probably the difference. They sat out there and made 12 threes. And so, we would have liked to have done that, but it just means you've got to be very precise and execute even more, and I don't think we did that tonight, So those are the areas.
And Flynn Cameron coming off a really strong Asia Cup, career best NBL season so far, and then another good performance tonight. How much are you enjoying working with him, I guess, but then seeing just his development pretty rapidly as well? Oh,
yeah, he's a big piece of this puzzle, and as Zay says, our connection is everything for us, and so he's, whenever I talk to these guys, he's one of the first guys that just to put his hand up. But his development, we played him tonight exclusively at the point guard spot. He had to carry some big minutes, and I think that's huge for his development. And as any of these guys that when they come in, sometimes they've got to play a different role slightly to what you see in the NBL, but they embrace that role. And it's great for his continued development, and I'm sure the best is yet to come, but he's always one that plays on the front foot for sure.
And Isaiah, you have a really strong group and a good campaign at the Asia Cup, and then you get guys like Sam and Yanni and Tyrell coming in for their first games of the year. How exciting is it for you as a group to have sort of the depth of talent that you've got, not just to be able to play with them, but to have them wanting to be a part of this and be available for games like this? Yeah,
for sure. It's always a good feeling when those dudes come along, and I think it just shows that the connection that we have. They always want to put on the black or white singlet, and I think it's just like an honour. Obviously some greats have worn it in the past, and being able to just follow their lead and kind of build on what they've kind of paved the way for us. It's kind of an amazing opportunity, and you don't really get to represent your country too much. So every chance you get, kind of grateful and just blessed to be able to do that.
That concludes the first part of tonight's press conference. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We're back for part two of the press conference with the Boomers beating the Tall Blacks here in Hobart. We will conduct the press conference in FIBA format with coaches' comments and player comments before questions. Coach Dean Vickerman, how did you see your game tonight?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a little battle of size. They really loaded up with a lot of bigs on their squad, and we thought there was going to be some advantages from the perimeter, and we needed to shoot the basketball pretty well. But could we rebound? That was going to be the challenge tonight. And you look at it and say, hey, we have to be a lot better in that area. Physicality, I thought, so much better in the second half. I'm not sure what we held them to, 30 points or something like that. And the way that we turned it up in the second half, and found some simple actions and moved the basketball, well. To create good opportunities. But I thought there were some shots in the first half that were really good looks for us that didn't go. And can we limit their second chance points, limit their bigs, and so we did enough tonight.
Thank you, Coach. We're joined by Angus Glover. Glover, your thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, much of what Dino just said. Game of ebbs and flows for a lot of the game, and we just stuck with it in that second half and played the way we wanted to and get out in transition. But we do that by getting stops when we play defence. I feel like we could get what we wanted on offence. So we do that, look after the ball, rebound. It was a fun second half to play.
Thanks, Angus. We'll open up to the room for questions. Please state your name and media outlet before asking. Thank you.
Dean, Jake Allen from the Mercury. Just on, you come out quite explosively in that first quarter, then the second and third, New Zealand sort of take it back, I guess, in a way. What was sort of said at, I guess, that third quarter? You're down by a point, you blow away in the fourth. What was sort of said at three-quarter time?
Yeah, I think, we just reinforced, what was most important to us, and, that was trying to clog the paint up a little bit more and make some appropriate closeouts to the three-point line. And I thought we did a better job of that. They still were able to get to the foul line, but we have 7 block shots. I just thought the guys at the rim, when they were coming downhill, there was some great wall ups. There was great help and protection from other guys as well. And so when we protected the rim like that, it made it pretty tough for them to score.
You did mention the rebounds. I think it was 49 to 36 in the end. Is that something you did train for going into this game, knowing that you were going to be a bit shorter?
Yeah, we did. We weren't great at it through the week. It was a little concern. We were rewarding some people for really attacking the offensive glass there for a while, and then we had to flip it and say, hey, this is not good enough, and it's not going to be good enough against New Zealand. So, we'll watch a lot of edits on how those offensive boards come. Obviously, there's going to be some that were just outsized at different times, but, the effort and the drop down and just making it has to be a team. It's not just on our bigs to go box out right now. It's on the whole team, and so that'll be one of the focuses moving forward.
And you speak about the attack on the ball and what Australia brings. Is that the style Australia wants to bring this, I guess, leading into the World Cup?
Yeah, I thought there was a physicality. There was, we shared the basketball. We moved it around. Getting to a second and third side. Really attacking the paint. I look at that one and say, we scored it at 67%. Once we got to the paint, so being able to shift them enough and really attack, and I think that allowed us to. I think we only had 4 free throws at half time, so just being able to attack the paint and get our share of free throws as well.
And just on Jalen Galloway, looked a bit sore with that calf. Any update on him?
No, it's the cramp. So he shook it off, and I thought he had a hell of a game, as he has when he's put on the Boomers jersey recently, and both these 2 wings were amazing. It's really fun coaching Nick Kay. He just keeps doing the right things for the team, and contributions from everyone. I thought Pinder's tip back rebound was massive. Whitey's three was at a massive time as well. And, Davo just beat me in the grand final. It was nice for him to make a big three ball to go 4 up, at a key moment in the game.
And Gus, just for yourself, mate, you've only had a week together, realistically, the whole team. How did you find the connection leading into tonight's game, off the court and on the court?
Yeah, great. I mean, a lot of us already know each other from the NBL and guys that are playing overseas. We know from their experiences in the NBL as well, and we've done a lot of work building our culture this week and getting to know guys we might not know as much about. And I think that really helped shape the way we wanted to talk on defense and be together and all that kind of stuff. And I think every time, whether it was a good offensive thing, a good defensive thing, you always see the bench up and about, cheering, celebrating everyone else's success. And that's what we want to be about. And just to see the togetherness, and we've only been together for a week, is, very, very happy with that.
And final question for me, for both of you, I guess, how good was it to be in Hobart and actually have the Hobart fans supporting you both this time?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I loved the cheer when both Josh and Ben got checked into the game, and big step for Ben here to put on this jersey this week, and I thought he had some really good looks tonight, and I think he'll be way better for the run. But his tenacity and the way that he plays, it's going to be so needed in this second game. I think he's played a little bit at Wellington, so I hope he knows those rims well. I thought Josh Bannon had an amazing week. We probably could have played him more tonight and expected him to, come out and be really aggressive in this game too as well. So, happy for both those guys to get a win here.
Dean, just Ethan James with AAP. Just with the rebounds, you mentioned it before, but how do you actually go about getting those, considering the height that they have?
Yeah, I think we've got to look at what led to the rebounds a little bit, and some of those were errors of ours that made our bigs, have to help in a fashion that took them away from key rebounding assignments. So I think if we can fix some things on the perimeter at different times and make sure that they give themselves the best chance to be in great rebounding positions. But those things are going to happen, and how we sort it out with guards helping the bigs a little bit more as well. But yeah, again, rebounding is a thing. It's a physicality thing. It's a commitment to it, and then it's a willingness to go get it. And there was a lot of tip rebounds tonight, and so in the AFL term, we need rovers to go pick up some of those loose ones as well.
And just on the teams, just preparation generally, is a week enough time? I know in a perfect world you have more time, but is a week enough sort of leading into a game of this sort of stature?
It is what it is. It's we know we're in a 10-day window. We're going to play 2 games. We know guys have just maybe played back-to-back games, or so I thought we managed load pretty well. We got enough physicality, into our first 2 practices. The boys were great. Gave everything they could at practice, and we tried to freshen them up for the game. And in the end, I thought our guys looked pretty good in the fourth quarter.
Jacob Dool, the Pick and Roll Australia. Dean, you mentioned Jalen, just a cramp. Davo pulled off a bit sore late in the game as well. I assume he's all good as well.
I think they're both good.
Perfect.
Davo's fine.
Good. Both of those guys obviously saw what they did at the Asia Cup, and then another strong performance here. How good is it to have young guys like that, I guess, first of all, putting their hands up consistently to play for the national team, but then also to produce so consistently as well?
I think it's just great. The fact that there was a lot of young guys on that Asia Cup team that played really well. Everyone was there's a lot of guys that want to put their hands up every single time there's a window, every single time there's an opportunity to put on the green and gold, and I think that's so special to have that within the group. And those two especially, JG's just some of the stuff he does, I'm like, I wish I could do that. But Davo just... he's so poised out there, playing alongside him. I know he's always looking for me personally, but he's always got. I feel like he's got so much time in every on ball he's in, and the way he plays is I just love watching both of them play. I love that they're on my team this week. But yeah, those two have been great.
And for you personally, you've been on some massive hot streaks in games lately, shooting the ball. What are you seeing out there? What are you feeling out there? How's the confidence just with the way you've been able to play lately?
Yeah, no, just I put in the work every single day with my shot, and so I'm always confident going out to a game. Dino gives me a lot of confidence when I'm out there to just shoot the ball with confidence, play my style of game, and all the boys are the same with me. But yeah, I mean, it's just it is what it is. I'm happy to shoot the ball, but at the same time, I really don't care. We got the W, and that's all that matters. And we're going to go into Monday trying to get another one.
And mentioned Nick Kay before, someone who's really done it all with the national team, but keeps on playing, as much as possible for the Boomers. I guess for both of you, Angus, what's it like to play with someone with that kind of experience, and what does it say about him that he keeps on coming back for more? And Dean, what's it like to have someone like that to be able to coach him?
Nick and I actually this week had a little talk about the last 10 or so years since we've last played with each other. So it's been a while, and just picking his brain with stuff he's obviously been to the highest in our sport with the Olympics and the World Cup, and just picking his brain as much as possible and just hearing his experiences. I want to be in his shoes one day where I'm at a World Cup or an Olympics. So yeah, just gaining so much knowledge from him. He's a great captain for us, and out there he's just a great leader.
Yeah, for me, I just love, he's probably played the most amount of window games of possibly anybody. It doesn't matter where it is in the world. He's willing to, sacrifice and drop whatever's going on in his world and play them. And so he loves these ones to come back to Australia and, be able to spend time with a little bit of family as well as his mates on the team. So I got to coach him in a window before, and there's just a composure about him. There's never a stress. It's just find a solution and keep moving forward. And so someone who's been to the best tournaments in the world and keep coming back and leading and teaching, and that's what this program keeps striving to be better when you've got people like that.
Stacey for FIBA, just you, Angus, you're on the squad last time Australia played New Zealand in your senior debut. Do you think that inspired you a little bit tonight, or what was it like?
Yeah, I mean, my debut didn't go to plan. We lost. I still remember it. We lost, and just before the world came crashing down with COVID. So it's a long time ago now. But to have my debut against the Kiwis was a pretty cool experience. To understand the rivalry between the two teams and to get that first experience out of the way was, it's every kid's dream. And I think every time I've played the Kiwis, whether it's been Trans-Tasman or tonight, I've had a bit more extra motivation. I don't want to really lose to them ever again after the first time. And it's just it's an honour to play in these games each and every time, and hopefully I can keep my hand up each and every time as well.
Last one from me. Sorry, Angus, you mentioned before that you want to be someone like Nick Kay who goes to World Cups and Olympics. Do you feel like your recent performances playing for the national team, you're putting yourself in a really strong position to potentially do that in the near future? I'm just going to let it take care of itself right now. Yes, that's the pinnacle, and that's every kid's dream, absolutely. But just worry about the daily process of how that looks to get there, and keep performing, and but just keep having fun with it as well. I think that's the biggest thing. We're so caught up in the daily grind of everything, and I think you're playing your best basketball when you're having fun, and I feel like I'm having a lot of fun right now.
That concludes the press conference. Thank you, Phil.